The noon sun burned hot over the wide Wyoming plains as cowboy Luke Carver rode toward the sprawling Triple Horn Ranch, dust swirling beneath his horses' hooves like a rising storm behind every desperate mile. Luke had fought drought, rustlers, and the loneliness of long trails, but nothing prepared him for the conversation that waited behind the heavy wooden door of boss Randall Horn's office. Horn was a man carved out of iron, powerful, feared, and known for turning cowboys into legends or ghosts depending on his temper. Luke, carrying only a hat, a saddle, and a spotless reputation, had come seeking honest work and shelter. What he found instead was a bargain so strange it made even his steady pulse jolt. Horn didn't waste time. He slammed his whiskey glass on the desk and growled, "You want work. You want food. You want your debts cleared. Then listen." Luke nodded, confused but calm. Horn leaned forward, his shadow falling over the desk like a noose tightening. "Marry my daughter," he said. "Or leave my land forever." Luke blinked, certain he misheard. "Your daughter?" Horn's jaw clenched. Outside, the wind lashed against the ranch walls, almost warning him. "Yes," Horn snapped. "And don't expect beauty. She is," his voice lowered, "not like other girls. I've tried everything. Men run from her. She scares them. But I need her protected. I need her settled. I need an heir." The words tumbled like stones. Luke's throat tightened. Marriage? To a stranger? But Horn wasn't asking, he was commanding. Luke could feel the weight behind it, the power, the danger. If he refused, he'd be thrown out, blacklisted, maybe even hunted. And Luke had nowhere else to go, not with winter coming and his last wages stolen by bandits 2 nights ago. He took a breath, thinking of his dead father's words. A man is nothing if he runs from every storm. So he nodded. "I'll meet her." Horn's shoulders loosened slightly, but his eyes remained sharp, almost desperate. "No," he said. "You'll marry her. Today. Without seeing her." Luke's heartbeat thudded. The demand was insane. But Horn was a man who didn't repeat himself twice. Luke felt the walls closing in, his options shrinking like dying embers. He swallowed hard. "Fine," he said. "I'll do it." And that was all Horn needed. Within an hour, Luke found himself standing in front of a small ceremonial teepee the ranch kept for family rites. Cowboys gathered like whispers. Some smirked, some shook their heads in pity, and others watched with a strange fear in their eyes. "Poor bastard," one muttered. "He don't know what he's walking into." Luke ignored them, though his pulse hammered like a wild drum inside his chest. Then the soft sound of footsteps approached. 2 women emerged, one young and strikingly beautiful, her braided hair shimmering in the sun, but she wore a cold expression that told Luke she was not the bride. Behind her came the second girl, her face hidden completely behind a thick white veil embroidered with tribal patterns that fluttered like ghost smoke with every breath of wind. Her posture was stiff, almost afraid, and she kept her hands tightly clasped together. This, Luke realized, was the boss's daughter. The one men ran from. The one Horn practically begged him to marry. Luke tried to read something, anything, from her covered face, but the veil revealed no eyes, no mouth, no emotion. Only mystery. The shaman began chanting, and Luke's heart gnawed at him with doubts. But a deal was a deal. And he was a man of his word. As the ritual progressed, Luke noticed the other cowboys exchanging looks, curiosity, fear, even awe. The beautiful sister kept glancing sharply at Luke, as though assessing him or warning him silently. Something wasn't right. Something hidden swirled around this girl in the veil like a secret storm waiting to break. Finally, the moment came. The shaman placed Luke's hand over hers. Her fingers were slender, trembling but warm. Shockingly warm. Luke felt a jolt through his chest, a connection he didn't expect. The shaman declared, "You are now bound." The ranch hands clapped half-heartedly. Horn exhaled with heavy relief, as though a mountain rolled off his shoulders. Luke finally turned to face his bride fully. "May I?" he asked quietly, his voice thick. Horn hesitated, jaw tight. "If you must." Luke lifted his hands to the veil. His fingers brushed the fabric, soft but strangely heavy, carrying the faint scent of sage and something sweet. The girl froze as if bracing for judgment. Slowly, Luke raised the veil. The sun caught her face, and Luke's breath shattered. His eyes widened not in disgust, not in horror, but in sheer disbelief. The girl beneath the veil was not ugly. She was breathtaking. Beautiful enough to silence the entire plains. Her skin glowed like warm desert sand, her eyes deep, soft, frightened, and sparkling like dark umber. Tears shimmered on her lashes, as though she expected him to recall. Her lips were full, trembling, and shaped with a fragility that made Luke feel protective instantly. She was, without question, one of the most stunning women he had ever seen. Luke stumbled back a step, stunned. The cowboys gasped. Horn looked away, shame flickering across his weathered face. And the beautiful sister, standing aside, watched with an unreadable emotion, anger, jealousy, or fear. Luke struggled to speak, but the words finally came out as a hoarse whisper. Why would you hide her? Why tell me she was ugly?" Horn didn't answer. But the girl, soft voice breaking, finally did. "Because," she said, her eyes shimmering with pain, "beauty is what cursed me, and it might just curse you too." And with that single sentence, Luke felt the ground shift beneath him, because he realized this marriage was not a trap, it was a warning. Luke stood frozen, the veil still clutched in his hand as the truth shimmered before him like a desert mirage. His new wife was stunning, gentle-faced, trembling, and yet carrying a pain so deep it felt older than the ranch itself. The cowboys whispered among themselves, as though witnessing something forbidden. Boss Randall Horn's face hardened, but behind his eyes flickered a guilt he could not hide. Luke gently lowered the veil and faced the girl, his wife, whose name, he realized, he didn't even know yet. "What cursed you?" he asked softly. She lowered her eyes. "My name is Aina," she whispered, each syllable delicate. "And men have destroyed everything around me because of my face. My father lost ranch hands, peace, even his reputation. Fights broke out, men stalked me, others threatened to kidnap me. My sister hated me for it. My beauty didn't bless anyone, it ruined lives." Her voice trembled, the weight of years pressing down on every word. Luke glanced toward the beautiful sister standing aside, whose cold, unreadable eyes now held a glimmer of resentment. Aina continued, "My father covered my face not to hide ugliness, but to protect the ranch from chaos. He wanted a husband for me, someone strong, honorable. Someone who would protect me without losing his mind." She swallowed. "I prayed he'd find someone kind. But I feared he'd find someone cruel." Luke stepped closer, his voice steady, warm. I'm not afraid, he said. And I'm not leaving. But just as hope flickered in Aina's eyes, chaos erupted behind them. A sharp whistle sliced through the air. 3 armed riders burst through the line of tipis, dust exploding around their horses. Rustlers. Not just any rustlers, Aina's voice cracked with terror as she gasped, "It's them, the ones who tried to take me before." The cowboys scattered, grabbing rifles. Boss Horn cursed and reached for his shotgun. The riders charged directly toward Aina, shouting, "We came back for what's ours." They weren't after cattle. They were after her. Luke's blood burned hot. Instinct took over. He grabbed Aina's hand and yanked her behind the water barrels just as bullets ripped through the sand. He drew his revolver, firing clean, sharp shots that forced the riders to divert their attack. Horn shouted, "Protect her, boy. This is your test now." Luke gritted his teeth and rose into the open, bullets whistling past his hat. He aimed at the lead rustler and fired again, this time striking his shoulder. The man fell from his horse, screaming. But the other two kept coming. Aina cried out as one rider jumped off and sprinted toward her, knife drawn. Luke bolted forward, cracked his revolver against the man's jaw, and tackled him into the dirt. The knife flew from the man's hands. The struggle was brutal, fists, dust, blood. Finally, Luke overpowered him, landing one final blow that knocked the rustler out cold. The last rider turned his horse, attempting to escape with the chaos he caused. Luke aimed carefully, firing a warning shot that forced the man to drop his gun. Cowboy hands grabbed him within seconds. The ranch erupted in shouts of victory. Aina rushed to Luke, her hands trembling as she touched his bruised cheek. "You risked your life for me," she whispered. Luke smiled softly, breath heavy. "That's what a husband does." Boss Horn approached slowly, staring at Luke with a mixture of gratitude and regret. "I was wrong to hide things from you," he admitted. "I thought I was protecting my daughter. But I see now, you're the man I should have trusted from the start." He placed a firm hand on Luke's shoulder. "You stood your ground against fear, against danger, against everything that frightened others away." Aina's beautiful eyes softened as she looked between her father and Luke. "Father," she said quietly, "can you let me live uncovered now? Let me live in truth." Horn nodded, voice cracking slightly. "From now on, you live as you truly are." The jealous sister, standing nearby, clenched her jaw but said nothing. For the first time, she looked smaller, like someone who had lost a war she never admitted she was fighting. Luke gently took Aina's hand. "Your beauty never cursed anyone," he said. "Cruel men did. But I'll spend the rest of my life proving that your face is a blessing, not a burden." Tears shimmered in Aina's eyes, but this time they were hopeful. The ranch hands gathered, murmuring gently, some smiling, some bowing their heads in respect. Word spread quickly. The cowboy who married the ugly daughter had discovered a queen beneath the veil and proved his worth in the fire of battle. That night, as the desert wind cooled and stars glittered like silver sparks over the open plains, Luke and Aina stood outside their teepee. She looked at him shyly. "Are you truly happy with this marriage?" Luke wrapped his arm around her shoulders. "Aina, meeting you is the best thing that ever happened to me." She leaned her head against his chest, finally feeling safe, perhaps for the first time in her life. And as the fire crackled and peace settled across the land, Luke whispered to himself with a smile, "If that was a curse, then I thank God for it." Their story became a legend around the Triple Horn Ranch, a reminder that truth hides behind fear, love hides behind doubt, and sometimes the greatest blessings come wrapped in veils meant to mislead the world. And so the cowboy who married the ugly daughter discovered not only beauty but destiny. Friends, if you enjoyed this story, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit the bell icon.